So I figured I better try to get this on record or whatever. This morning, November 18th, 2021, has been a morning of reflection and something that only happens when you go back to the beginning. I keep thinking of all these different stories that mean the same thing. And they're all stories of struggle that happens. They're all stories of struggles that happen when a soul is put up against adversity that only it was born to do. I believe that, and I've always believed, that I was born to do big things. Everything I dealt with as a kid, everything I went through and was taught to do after the adversity I went through as a kid and child, before I was 7, all before my parents got divorced, before my dad stopped being an alcoholic drug addict, before all that. After that, I learned about God's grace. I learned that it's all the same story over and over again, talking about the same love. You know, the Bible, Christianity is all about that unconditional love, that agape. To be unconditional means you have the capability of grace, of forgiveness, of the fact you understand that it took somebody to go through so much to learn the lessons that they needed to learn in order to further their, not them, not to further them, but to further God's kingdom. And not necessarily God or Buddha or Yahweh or Allah or any of the higher powers that people worship. But that's just it, the higher power. In my life, I've seen miracles. Those years I was in church, I saw legs grow. I saw teeth form where there were no teeth. I saw things. I saw great amounts of people give their lives to the Lord, and even if only one of those continued to live and serve for the Lord, however you want to put it, it meant something. So here I am, back at my foundation, watching a movie that I haven't seen since I watched it in theaters, probably. Maybe once or twice after, but that hasn't been since the early 90s. I'm reminded of all these things. And then I'm going through looking up songs from fucking 1990, the 80s, because 1990, it took everything from the 80s and made it is what it is. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know what possessed me to show it this morning, but I was freed up to be able to sit in the house and do my thing. My thing is being alone because I don't feel worthy to be around others. At least not for the long point, not for the long term. I'm watching this movie that reminds me of when I was 7 years old. When it first came out, my dad took me to go see it. But before that, that was came out March 30th, 2000 or 2000 1990. I was almost 7 years old. I was 6. I think I was so excited about it because it was the first time I'd really felt love from my dad. He was actually doing something with me, not just to me. And the things done to me weren't worth remembering. Alcohol and drugs is some hell of a fucking torment to yourself, so don't do it, kids. I'll never hold anything against my dad for what he did because he was only operating on what he knew. Without you doing what you did, I would never have been built into the man that I am today. I appreciate everything you've ever done for me because I know you do it out of the spirit of love. David Lee Childress. I love you, Dad. I remember walking on the street singing my dad's, at least in my head. Maybe it was out loud, I don't know. Talking about my dad taking me to go see this movie in theaters. The first time I'd ever been to the theater. Sometimes you gotta let go to remember.